Coriolis, in your hand is a power supply that is beginning to beep rapidly.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I yeet it!
As you go to throw it, the Mechanator lunges forward and produces this device out from what looks to be almost like a metallic wristband. And right as you see the flashing and the beeping reach what you would guess is the critical mass, there's a flash of light, but it's contained in roughly about a 5 to 6 foot in diameter globe around this power core.
Nice.
A Mechanator kind of looks at both of you. Do you know how hard it was for me to take one of these things down?
No, not really. I mean, are you talking about like the power core or your machines? Because we dealt with the machines pretty easily.
That thing's not one of mine. And he kind of gestures at it. I don't know who stole it. I don't know who made the modifications on it. But that's what you just ruined me figuring out.
Oh, well,
Okay.
we can figure that out later. We have questions for you, or at least, Augury, I think you have questions.
Well, even
Understand the
beyond that possibility, okay, well here's the important thing, is whoever made those things stole your designs and started augmenting them with technology from this new dimension. We need to find them, because at the moment they're our only lead. Notion of who it might be. I don't know, maybe some other villain who has a grudge and wants to frame you. I can't imagine with all the preparations you made that it would be expedient for someone to steal and reverse engineer your stuff.
He goes back and kind of kicks at the robotic form that he was working on. Do you honestly think if I had any idea who was doing any of this, I wouldn't already be on their doorstep with my boot on their neck?
Okay, that's fair, but we don't really give a damn. We're trying to save lives here.
And I want to find out who's taking my stuff. And you notice he doesn't wear a mask or anything. There's a sour look on his face, and he rolls the words in his mouth as if he's wanting to spit them out. Improving my designs. No rolls needed to know that was a very bitter taste in his mouth saying those words.
So what you're basically telling us is you don't know anything, which means you're useless to us.
Now, going a smidge too far there. You have inadvertently provided me with some information that was not readily known to me. I want to know how you came about it.
Oh, that.
And then he pushes another button on his wristband, and it, Augury, your voice comes out. Basically, it's just it's a voice recording of Augury stating, "Oh, power supply, another dimension." I don't remember your exact words, so I'm not gonna quote them verbatim just because human error here, I don't remember.
Oh, that. Well, I'm not going to tell you that.
That's unfortunate. Because that's pretty important information of how you know that. I feel like I'm going to have to extract it from you.
I mean, we just destroyed all of your toys. And it's not like I have any incentive to give you the information of my own volition, right?
Augury.
What?
I turn to the Mechanator and I give him a smile. Can you give us like 1 minute, please? I turn to Augury. Does he know that the robots that were ambushing us on, and I get inch closer and make sure that there's no audio devices nearby trying to record us, on the train were his, or were they the persons who were trying to improve him on his design?
Well,
because this is an odd train of questioning if he doesn't know that power supplies are on the train.
The only place these power sources
anyway, but it's like, come on.
The only place these power sources come from that we know of is from these portals. And if he isn't designing the robots to incorporate them himself, that means whoever attacked the trains must be someone who stole his robots and incorporated them themselves. But more importantly, I don't feel like sharing any of this information with the Mechanator, because first of all, he's a villain. That is reason enough on its own. Second of all, this stuff is dangerous, and I don't think he would realize what he's messing it with if we helped him do it, and we'd be liable if he ended up causing more trouble. And the third thing is that giving him this information doesn't get us any closer to helping us figure out what the mystery is behind the portals or how to rescue all of the heroes who are stuck in there. Which is why I say we should just ditch this place and get started with the information that we've got now. I mean, think of it.
Well,
Did you really think he's going to drop everything and help us out of the kindness of his heart?
Well, the heart has something to do with it. Probably not kindness. And he turns
Coriolis,
to the Mechanator. He turns to the Mechanator. Is like, you said that somebody's improving on your stuff, right? I mean, your robots in and of themselves are kind of shoddy, given how we kind of cut through it. But do you happen to know like where your robots are like disappearing? Don't you like have trackers or beacons or whatever on them, so that way you can just keep track of them? Would that be a provoke roll? Or
are you actually trying to provoke him? Because I mean, that statement's going to irritate him no matter how you twist it. But are you actually trying to get a rise out of him, or are you just trying to poke at him?
I'm trying. Well, poke at him certainly, but if it does apply, I am definitely trying to provoke him into giving us more information about his robots, especially if they have tracking devices and we can trace those devices onto where they went missing, or where they probably like lost communication with like the main server host or whatever he has, if that's the case.
Give me a roll.
All right, bet. Superior. Kapow! Double sixes.
Whoa.
Is this gonna be a repeat of last time?
I hope not. I mean, superior is a good roll of mine. I have a 2 in superior, so.
All right, so with that, on a 10, they raise to the bait and do what you want. So, what you want is more information.
Yeah.
Do you take me for some cut-rate moron? Of course, every single one of my units has a tracking feature. And with that, he kind of moves over to this rather elaborate computer display. And then he brings it up. Seemingly, at least this part of the ship seems to be doing okay on the power, despite all the damage that happened in the other room. You see a massive world map pull up. It slowly spins. It has Halcyon City. You can see it. You also see a lot of other little pins, and he goes, red pins are current locations of my complexes. Green pins, as more pins start to populate the map, are locations of portals. And then blue pins start to pop up. And this one, unlike the others where there's like 10, 15, you know, a reasonable, like, you can count them type. That's where this one lights up. To the point where you almost can't see Halcyon City because of all these blue pins. Current functioning units. And then yellow pins start to pop up. Most of them in Halcyon City, a few of them in outskirts. Ones that have stopped reporting last locations.
So that tells us where they were taken from, not where they've gone.
Right, but is there like a big cluster of yellow pins? Like there's like an area where we could search possibly of units that did tend to get captured?
Most of them are in Halcyon City, as stated. As for that, there doesn't seem to be like, 10, 15 pins all in just one singular location. However, where there is one yellow pin, there's always multiple yellow pins. So some are taken on the east side, 3 or 4 at a time, let's just say. Another set are captured on the north side, 5 to 6. So it's never like a massive grouping, but it seems like when they're taken at least a couple at a time.
Okay, so if they're doing this across the city, this must be a big organization. Now,
I have an idea.
Tit for tat here. He looks at Coriolis. Would you mind convincing your friend to share some of their information?
One moment, please. And he turns over to Augury again.
It's at this point that you can tell the villain is getting really irritated by these little powwows. Which is completely...
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyone would be.
Augury, if we could get him... Now, hear me out. If we could get him to, like, send an assault force to Halcyon City, we could possibly follow it. So that way we can get the identity of who is taking the robots, and then we can track them. Or maybe like...
What assault force? We just destroyed all his stuff.
Well, he's a Mechanator, isn't he? He can build more.
Remember,
doesn't he?
All the
Maybe in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, he still has he has blue blippy thingies on Earth. All the good stuff and the ones that are still working and stuff, they're all on the big map.
How many in Halcyon City?
I look away from the powwow and I take a quick look at the map. I make it obvious I'm looking, and then he turns back to Augury again. Is there quite a bit still in Halcyon City?
There's quite a bit all over the place, yeah. As stated, there's enough blue pins on this, you can't reasonably count them. Unless you literally start going like 1, 2.
There's a lot. There's a lot. So if we just make like this huge concentrated effort, or at least he does.
I don't like leaving hero work to criminals.
Well, it's not hero work. He's doing a villain work. But we're going to be there to do the actual hero work. It's like super mega entrapment. But that's illegal. Kind of.
Okay, but how are you going to convince the Mechanator to help us if he knows we're just going to throw him straight in the slammer as soon as we're done?
Because we're going to help him by not helping him to help himself to not help him.
You can't be serious.
It's worth a shot.
Are you done yet?
Not yet.
We also still need to figure out where we also still need to figure out where Eclipse is. He doesn't laugh in character, because that's actually really concerning to him. I'm just giddy because I'm enjoying this.
All right, you know what? Fine, I'll try to play ball. And Augury turns away from the powwow and goes over to the Mechanator. Is like, all right, look, here's the way that I'll offer. I'll tell you everything that you want to know about this on the condition that you help us get to the bottom of who's trying to open these portals and kidnapping all these heroes. And if you do that, in addition to that information, you don't have to go to jail when this is over. How's that?
One, your last little bit there is hilarious. The fact that you think you could bring me to jail is hilarious.
Oh, I know I could bring you to jail.
Thank you.
Well, your other option, or your other statement, you would help me do what I'm already doing. So, I mean, that's not a loss in my book.
Right, exactly. So it's a win-win.
On the contrary, Coriolis, I think what he's saying is that the offer doesn't appeal at all and that we have nothing to offer him.
But he has nothing to lose.
Come on. The greatest scientific inventions are not created by one person and one person alone.
Exactly.
There are benefits to working as a group.
Exactly. See, he gets me.
Glares over at Coriolis as if to tell Coriolis to shut the hell up before he loses the ground.
I mean, hey, out of character. I am technically still frightening to him, so
You can still be frightened. You can still be wary of somebody and wishing that they would be quiet.
You should be the one getting me right now.
I'm waiting to hear the information you're willing. My collaboration on this is contingent upon that information.
Your collaboration is incidental, and more importantly, once I've told you, you have no incentive to actually help us, beyond the fact that you want revenge against whoever has been stealing your robots.
right, and that's the whole point of this, to get revenge, and we're offering you a chance to do that.
This isn't revenge, Coriolis. This is justice.
No. The revenge stuff is contingent. You don't really need to know about the power sources of the portals necessarily, but you do want to know who that is. Well, no, not really. That's not really important. What's important is if you get the identity.
I'm getting sick of this. I'm going to go find Eclipse. Augury is going to open a portal and go to find Eclipse, provided that she can, in fact, portal to Eclipse specifically.
Nice. I think that's when you're... Is that your Doom track power?
Yeah, it's one of her Doom signs. She's just leaving.
And portal, appear in the scene with anyone you want. I would say, yeah, it says with anyone you want, so that would mean you could portal directly to Eclipse. That's somebody you want.
Doom sign mark. She's gone.
We're gonna come back to you, Coriolis, in a moment.
That's fine. Also, that's his superior coming out again, by the way.
Yeah, I realize.
Does this count as resolving a condition?
Let's see. Make a sacrifice. Hurt someone or break something. Run from something difficult.
That was the one I was thinking. This isn't running away out of fear, but this is basically Augury rage quitting the conversation, isn't it?
Maybe out of frustration.
Yeah, it would be out of frustration. However, to run from something difficult, that doesn't necessarily mean combat. Conversations can be difficult, so I'll give it here.
Yay.
So, Eclipse, what are you up to on your tropical desert island?
I'd be looking for any sort of like signs of life, like housing or anything like that.
This island is actually relatively small. You've circumnavigated it within the last 2 hours, let's just say.
Mhm.
There's plenty of wildlife, but no human life. There's crabs, seagulls, coconuts, some papayas, you know.
Okay. Any ripe ones? Any ripe papayas? Might as well make it worthwhile.
As you attempt to retrieve a papaya, Augury, you portal into the middle of a desert island. Black sand beaches. It's getting closer to evening now. And as you look about, you do see Eclipse retrieving a papaya.
Augury's gonna kind of wave at her. Hey! Hey! Over here!
Not expecting anyone. I just like turn instinctively with like shadows at the ready. Oh! Augury! I run up to like hug her.
Augury's gonna return the hug, because honestly, she needs a hug.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Would you like to roll comfort and support?
Sure. That'll be mundane, right?
Yes, that is mundane.
Okay. Come on, roll 20. Load my sheet. Ba-ba. Roll 20 and loading my sheet.
I can roll for you.
Sure, thank you. Oh wait, here we go.
You've got decent mundane, at least.
Yeah.
Don't say that. That's exactly when Murphy decides to screw you over.
Okay, there we go.
So, on a hit, they hear you. Mark potential, clear condition, or shift labels if they open up to you.
Is Augury opening up, you mean?
If you want a clear condition, so to speak.
You can.
I mean, absolutely, because Augury really just wants a teammate to agree with her. She wasn't particularly fond of Coriolis playing the devil's advocate about working with a villain. In particular, a villain who just tried to kill them with dozens of robots and who isn't even all that invested in trying to help the common good beyond getting his own short-sighted revenge against whoever's been stealing his Tinker toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we pull away from the hug, I just ask, "How'd it go? Did you get the robots? How's?"
We did destroy the robots, including the really big one, but slight problem. The robots, they do belong to the Mechanator, but they're someone's been stealing them and modding them. Apparently the Mechanator didn't even realize the power cores come from another dimension. And he insisted on trying to find out how I knew that and what I knew about them. I refused to tell him. Coriolis insisted that I tell him so that we could all work together, but to put it simply, I didn't trust the Mechanator to help us any further than I could throw him. So I kind of just got impatient and left.
That's okay. Like he was just trying to kill all of us. I mean,
Yes,
why
yes, he
would we-
was.
why would we Coriolis sometimes?
I mean, the big thing is that, like, this stuff is dangerous. My entire life has been changed because I screwed with another dimension and found out exactly how dangerous it was too late. I don't want to give the Mechanator the chance to do that to other people, no matter how remote that chance is.
Yeah, I know. I know this. This is a lot for you, you know, because yeah. So what do we do? Do we just stealing this robot? Oh my God, you're all freezing. What's going on?
Oh, you froze for my end.
Okay.
Oh no, you're back. You're good.
I'm Robin. Yeah.
Well, first of all, where the heck are we?
I wish I knew. There's no one here. There's just crabs. The real crabs, not bias. You know. Oh, no, you're freezing again. What's going on?
There does seem to be a bit of a connection issue, Robin.
Yeah.
So true. Yep. Did I cut out?
No, we can still hear you.
Okay. So it's just the visuals. Okay. Yeah. Nothing's here. I don't know where this is. Wait, do I know where this is?
No, you do not.
Okay.
Can we try to figure out where this is?
If you would like, assess the situation.
Okay. Any situational penalties I need to worry about?
Not unless you have a condition that affects it. Honestly.
Yay! So, what do we know?
I feel like technically this is question number 1. What here can I use to blank? What can I use to figure out where I am?
Yeah.
So, looking about, you see pretty much everything I've already described to Eclipse. There is one extra bit of information. You're somewhat aware of how the weather was when you entered the Mechanator's aerial fortress. You know it hasn't been 24 hours or anything of that nature, so you know it's the same day.
So that tells us the hemisphere, probably?
Mm-hmm. It's the same hemisphere, but also the wind is still blowing from the same direction, so you're able to somewhat figure out essentially where this island's positioned. You are somewhere northwest of Halcyon City. Just kind of going by how the wind is blowing. And,
out of context, where is Halcyon City again?
Well, it's the cop-out answer.
Southeast of here?
Yeah, it's southeast of here. Halcyon City is not. It's not distinguished. It's not even quote unquote stated that it's on Earth. So the answer to that's a little bit more difficult unless we world build for another hour and a half. I don't think people want to world build for an hour and a half right now, though.
Fair enough. I guess
We'll try.
inferences. We're on the same hemisphere. Wind's coming from the same direction. So we're not far from Halcyon City. And if English is still the main spoken language here, and it's warm enough for papayas to grow, and it's otherwise tropical climate, my bet is that we're somewhere in the Caribbean.
Northwest. Wouldn't we be in Canada?
It's too cold for papayas in Canada. This isn't Greenland, or no, Iceland. I'm thinking of Iceland.
Greenland. Yeah, there's no people here, so it's like, and I managed to like check the whole island, so this must be like a dot on the map.
Okay. Well, I guess there is one option that we could use. We could try to portal back. I could probably manage it for us both, but I don't like to use those portals that often unless I have good reason to.
I can do it, I think.
You
And
sure?
Now I'm gonna do it.
Give me, unleash your power.
Oh, so true. Okay. Come on, Miss Girl.
Where exactly are you trying to port Augury and yourself to?
Okay, based on what Augury told me, I'd assume Coriolis is still back in the aerial fortress.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll try to do that again, but like within the room I left from.
All right.
Hand gesture to show that I'm using my powers. To our listeners out there.
So, before we get to where Augury and Eclipse end up, going back to Coriolis. That's some friends you got there.
Oh, she'll be fine. So, you want to go on ahead and try and find whoever it is that is stealing your robots and improving upon them. It's very clearly that aggravates you, right? Bastardizing your work.
Very apt words. You at least seem to have an understanding of what's going on.
Right. And of course, you kind of see that Coriolis now is shifting into a bit of more of a serious demeanor. So, really, it makes no sense for us to be at odds. The information that you seek isn't really that important. Nor do I see the wisdom in giving you that information anyway. Not that I possess it. But, I mean, he does, but not to the extent that Augury does. We both have common goals. We should utilize these resources together to end whatever it is that's actually happening here. We are offering this to you.
See, you say all of this, and it all sounds like honeyed words. However, your friend literally just left through a portal, which is eerily similar to all the other ones that have been propping up. You can see how that's somewhat... You can see how that leads to more questions than it does answers, can you not?
He's going to try to pierce his mask.
Right, give me a...
He has -2 mundane. Let's go. A 3, a miss. Woo!
Okay. So, with that miss... You can tell he is definitely now far more interested in Augury than anything else that you have to say. and you can see the wheels are turning. You're not sure what he's thinking, but you know he's definitely formulating something. Now, let us be honest with each other. I did give you quite a bit of information just now, did I not?
You're back against the wall, yes.
My back has never been against the wall. Realize that. You're in my headquarters, or, well, one of my many headquarters. You are, for lack of better words, an uninvited guest that I have so humbly not thrown out an air vent. And it's at this point he kind of straightens himself up. He makes himself as tall as he can, essentially. He moves his arms behind his back and begins to pace. So, what I think you could do here is I've given you a show of good faith, have I not? I have not tossed you out. I have not done anything to directly endanger your life here. Now, before you try to get on, oh, but your robots attacked. Did you not break and enter my airship? Yes or no?
Is he trying to use his influence on me?
A little bit, yes.
Ooh. I want to reject his influence.
All right, give me that roll.
All right, let's see what happens. 12!
You reject his influence.
So, what is it for reject influence? Options.
Let's see, blah, blah, blah. When you reject on a 10 plus, you choose 2. You can either clear a condition or mark potential, immediately acting to prove them wrong, shift one label up and down, your choice, and cancel their influence and take +1 forward against them.
I think I'm going to cancel the influence and take the +1 forward against them, and I'm going to immediately act to prove them wrong. He said that. He's kind of posturing himself like he's in power, like he's in control. Like it's through his good faith that he allows me to stay here. I'll show him that's a bit different. So I'm going to cancel his influence. I'm going to mark that on the sheet. Uh-oh. Did somebody leave?
Nope.
Sorry, that was me.
Oh, okay.
My sound kicked out.
No influence on him. All right. And then I still have a burn. So I'm going to use worship instead. You put out a tremendous display of your might. You spend 1 burn to awe an audience into silence, respect, and intention when you unleash your powers.
All right.
So, but I need to roll to unleash my powers, or is it just automatic with the burn?
You're technically already spending a resource here, so I think you are good.
Okay.
Because it does not, because unlike Reality Storm where it says roll plus freak,
Right.
you're good. So just burn your, or spend your burn.
So he spent his last burn, and viewing him, I don't think you two come in at this point, but
Oh, they
if
are.
you were, oh, they do. Then you just kind of see a side of Coriolis that you've never ever seen before. He gets like super deathly serious, and he just kind of looks towards the Mechanator, and he's like, "Through your good grace, that you haven't thrown us out. And then he kind of turns towards the robots that have been destroyed, his livelihood, his great hard work. And he just nods his head and he starts to elevate a little bit. He reaches his hands out slowly, and before you know it, like the walls, even like the separation plates, the plating from the plane in and of itself is just merely separating, all one by one by one. Like the plane would not be able to function, or at least this side of the plane would not be able to function if it was not for any sort of gravitational pull that's keeping it there, given that he just completely separated everything. Bolts are just sort of popping out, ping-panging, metal is just sort of crunching around, horrible noises are just surrounding everything and everywhere. And it's an incredibly like terrifying sight. I mentioned to you long before that we are offering this deal to you for your assistance, given to the fact that your robots, your creations, have a direct correlation to what's happening here. You will help us. And it is by my good grace that I do not destroy this plane and everything inside of it. And not simply to that, but also throw you into jail. Whether or not you're conscious or not is a little concern to me. And just immediately after he kind of finishes saying that with a booming voice, likely from manipulating sound decibels and gravity all across that, he just slowly puts the entire like half side of the plane back together, even with like the crumpled pieces, but he just kind of like still maintains it and pushes it in there, and you could just kind of see like a little reminiscent passive gravitational force, especially for like the bolts that already popped off and we're holding metal pieces together. And yeah, that's him essentially just subduing him and powering him into making him do what he wants him to do.
Augury, Eclipse, you arrive at the start of that.
What about potential for I get a little bit of angst and darkness in this session a little bit.
Augury?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mark off stuff earlier too. I got to mark off a condition, right?
Yeah.
Make that the angry condition. Augury's not as upset anymore.
What do you guys think?
What the hell's going on?
You also guys likely would see as you just come in and portal in, the plane is absolutely getting deconstructed and reconstructed as he speaks.
Normally I wouldn't have an objection, but do we really need his help?
I don't think we do, but this is wild.
She's gonna go over to Coriolis and kind of tap him on the shoulder, like, hey, are you alright?
No, he wouldn't respond. Actually, he would still be staring at the Mechanator, deathly serious, waiting for his response.
Augury's gonna shake him now. Hey, come on, let's just get out of here.
I want to hear his response. Or at least his facial expression.
Maybe so, but Augury cares more about Coriolis than she does about the words of a trapped rat.
You can see from the Mechanator's face a hint of respect. admiration for that amount of power. You can tell. I'm not going to even make you need to pierce the mask for this. You can tell anybody else would have probably already fallen to their knees. He is a very composed individual, almost to a fault. So the fact that even if it's just his face, he's showing that level of admiration, respect, you know you've hit him deep with what you've just done. He looks about the ship, looking at all the empty bolt holes. And it's as he goes to speak, I need everybody to take a powerful blow.
Epic.
Oh. He's gonna blow us up, isn't he?
Let's do it.
Yeah, there's creepy music in the background. It's dimensional weirdness, I'm calling it.
I imagine the Mechanator is someone with greater power than me, right?
To answer what you're trying to say here, I'm going to say yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna use never give up, never surrender.
Okay.
Ooh.
So I roll Savior. Oh. Let's see. Okay.
Ooh. No, not again.
I envy you.
No.
It
This is good, I
reverses.
think.
Yeah.
It's reversed. So this is bad.
No, this is good.
Oh, wait, actually, no, this is good. Oh, yeah, that's
Never
right.
give
You
up.
never give up.
Yeah, never
Yep,
give up.
I'm going to inspire. I'm gonna rally from the head and inspire the team.
So, adds one team to the pool.
Yep.
Sweet.
Is that how it does?
As the Mechanator begins to say something, and then just all of a sudden, top part of the ship just doesn't exist anymore. And where the Mechanator once stood, there is
Oh shit.
blood. As
This is R rating? This is Euphoria?
I didn't say gore or anything. There's just blood on the ground. That's
Blood.
There's
Yeah.
blood.
That's still within PG-13 saying there's blood.
Okay.
As this being stands where the Mechanator once stood. This being is an adult, from what you can tell. Their face is twisted with a contorted smile. And they don't stand normally. As you would see, expect a person to stand, they stand with their back to you, completely flipped upside down. So they're back bending, so they're looking at you upside down with this smile. You hear a warning, sirens going off all throughout the ship, as literally you see the top of the ship shattering. You can see it all up in the air. It's in a billion pieces. and you can feel the wind whip about you as this thing starts to go down.
Okay, time to go.
No, you can't go. You can't go anywhere. Not until I have my answers. Yes, my answers.
Who are you and why do I need to care?
Oh, names. Names are so passé. Why do you people always insist on having names?
You people.
Is that a rhetorical question or do you want an actual answer?
And it's at this point he spins, essentially. His feet don't leave the ground, but he obviously is twisting his upper body, so now he's kind of leaning forwards rather than back bending. But as he does so, you're not sure if it's an optical illusion, but it never looks like he moves his head.
So his body moves around and his head stays where it is or was.
Yeah, so it looks like his neck is still cranked at almost like a 180 degree, so his head's still upside down as he's looking at you. But his body's right side up now. Come on. Let's talk. So, what should we talk about?
We have nothing to talk about because the ship's going down.
Ah, that's fine. It hits the ground. Who cares? Unless you care. Do you care?
Augury's gonna take a quick look outside. Is there like a city or something down there?
Halcyon City is still very much down there, yes.
Maybe we should start caring.
Okay.
Fine. I see you're worried about people. You shouldn't be worried about people. People don't matter. But you're concerned.
I don't.
And people who are concerned don't talk. So, and he lifts both hands and snaps his fingers. And as you turn to look behind you where the ship is going down, a massive portal has opened up. And the ship...
Does it look like the ones we've been following?
Yes, and the ship begins to careen into it.
Oh my goodness, we're going into
I see where this is going.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Where is the creature is in place of the Mechanator, right?
More or less, yeah.
Okay, but we don't see him anymore.
You just see blood.
Oh.
I'm assuming what's left of him has been turned into liquefied bacon.
We don't need to discuss that. This is really pathetic.
As the ship passes the event horizon, you eventually pass through the event horizon along with this individual.